Here's the deal. From my experience only, if I'm afraid to do anything, I'll never. If I'm afraid to try anything, see, I'm afraid of failure. If I'm afraid of failure, I'm never going to go nowhere, anywhere. I'll be right where I'm at, under somebody else's wing. But the whole thing is try writing, try researching about yourself. Try thinking about what's your experience, whatever it is you've been through. How can I apply that to life to help somebody else? You know, and check this out. Here's sort of an introduction. It says, we don't have a clue of what being honest is anymore. We have ruined that privilege. If we are watching this right now, we have lied about being honest over and over again. See, pride comes before destruction, but prideful honesty is always chaos. Never getting any better, but always really, really worse. Does fear have a lot to do with being honest? The answer is most definitely yes. Why is so much fear built up? How can we be honest with everyone around us except for ourselves? In recovery, within the Alcoholics Anonymous literature and community, there is a concept of which is called a psychic change. From my experience only, it is a combination of events over the course of a heavy drug and alcohol-induced decades of nonstop partying, food, whatever. It's experiences that are driven into the subconscious over the years, only to be flooded, suppressed, so to speak, with the substance abuse. The setting has to be almost scripted. It's already set up, but we have to keep searching for it. During many of my legal problems due to driving under the influence, possession charges, etc., the courts and the judge felt it necessary that anger management would be implemented into the probation. And if the court system says you have to do 25 sessions, then come jail or high water, we're going to do 25 sessions. Now, at $45 an hour with 8 people in the room, that's $360 an hour. That was just instinct from selling drugs to add that up. But see, during the process of this anger management class, we're supposed to get our anger out, right? Most people are only there to just get through the situation and move on with the rest of their life. But there is others like me in there trying to learn. And this guy, though a certified clinical official, whatever, kicks me out of the class for getting my anger out. Yep. We were outside, and yes, it was a little heated. The next thing he said to me literally blew my mind right in half. He said, "I'll see you on the front page for murder one day." Well, the F-bombs came from everywhere. Pride took over more than anything, but it planted a seed of confusion and also a seed of perseverance. The fire and desire to change was there, yet self and honesty do not mix. Hell yeah, it made me want to prove that man wrong. How dare he say something like that to me? But then again, that feeling disease was something we never deal with. For 5 years, that image of him stayed in my head, and my life was constantly getting worse. More detoxes, more emergency room visits, more financial ruin, more severed relationships with any and everyone. Never going to meetings, never calling anyone, always being a thorn in everyone's ass around me. Addicted to pride and isolation, never getting honest with myself. My friends, we have lived the life, experienced the mental torture, the obsession over the mind, the pull this disease has over everything in our lives. These people have synthetic knowledge, books, seminars, schools, etc. They do intern work at rehabs and hospitals and only hear stories. They don't live them. As all this shit is mounting up upon me, the history of my life as to look back, why should any other attempt be different than before? To admit absolute failure is insane, but the history speaks for itself. There is no way out of this. My last relapse, December 17th of 2014, was set from the beginning of time. The higher power that truly believes in me had it all in place. The third day of trying to quit anything will be hell on the mind as well as the body. Only 3 days into another attempt of my own to stop. The pain was too much to bear, the mental racing thoughts, the restless sleep, the nightmares, the agony of the obsession, the failure of my life all at once, again. And it only gets worse every attempt. My obsession took me to my daughter's piggy bank with determination to drink at hand. $5 would be enough, because that's all that was in her savings for 2 months. Drove the wife's car to my mother's house and begged for $5 for a can of Copenhagen, and it was a lot of begging. Headed up to the gas station and purchased two 16-ounce six-packs of natural ice, the nasty shit. And within 10 minutes on the way back home had chugged all 12 before walking in the front door. Within 5 minutes, my wife said that my face had changed into some kind of possessed demonic force that she had never seen before. And of course the devil did come out. A lot of verbal abuse, throwing furniture, and you know it, the law being called. Have you ever blacked out? And it's yes. Even only 3 days into an attempt at stopping, the body goes into shock. It's confused. It's searching for that signal that has been cut off so abruptly. But once the purchase has been made, the mind is at ease for a brief minute. Then the first top is popped, and the obsession is so strong for that feeling we don't have anymore that we chug so much that we pretty much throw up and keep going. Then remorse sets in, then the mindset to drink enough to cover the remorse up. Being blacked out, even the law said something demonic was going on within me. And when it's domestic and alcohol is involved and someone says they're going to harm themselves, that individual will have to go to get a mental evaluation, at least from where we live. So off to an ambulance once again. Just another trip to the ER to only keep getting medical bills in the mail to constantly drink over. The thought of never being able to pay any of them off, only to be flattened by what was about to transpire in the least of all places, the emergency room, surrounded by 2 police officers as my blackout started to wear off. And I'm going to stop right there because it goes into psychic change. That's pretty good though. I just wanted to share that with you because it's like this. People write and all that. A lot of your greatest writers were alcoholics and addicts. And seeing a lot of their ideas and visions came through substance-induced thinking, and and I've already been through all that. I've seen all the motorcycle guys in the clouds. I've seen that. I've seen everything. Now this is coming out from within. You know what I mean? Sit down and write. Journal about yourself. Journal. Nobody else has got to read it. I do this because this is not about me. It ain't. When I die, I have got to cover up those 100 pages of just negative chaos. That ain't going to help nobody. It ain't going to help nobody in this ugly world that everybody's so just gung-ho fixated to that TV. And when I leave this world, my higher power, who I choose to call God, I have got to leave something behind that somebody can work with. You know what I mean? Even if it's just one person, that's what it's about. But in the process of doing all this, I find out more about myself. And in 5 more years, 10, the goal is, then I'm set enough. Now I have driven enough within me. I've learned enough about this world, my higher power, and humanity that I can help people. And I can actually walk into the depths of hell and be sitting there solid in my foundation with Christ. Not of this world, with my guy. And to be able to socialize without being involved in it. Being in this world, but not of this world. If that makes any sense to some of you, which it won't. But anyways, that's some powerful stuff, and I wanted to share that because, I mean, it takes a lot to sit down and do that. People laugh, but who cares? That laughter is only jealousy directed out. They have no idea how to do it because they don't know themselves. And once people start researching about themselves, looking at character defects and flaws, and then they recognize it, and then you start seeing people change, it's a gift, man. It is. And that's the drug, is helping people. I love y'all. Later.